The next section of our BIS Internship Experience page is going to be the company/organization spotlight, and we're going to use those columns that we created in our earlier tutorials to do that. So I'm going to locate that closing div tag of the first section where we had our narrative, and click on my click right after that div tag closes, and hit the enter return key. And following that practice of making sure we don't have any problems from one section to the next, we're going to type in a left caret and then add that break class of clear, and then hit the enter return key, so we have a fresh start there. This is going to use the secondary section, which is a grayed out section. So I'm going to type in the left caret div class, and we are looking for the content secondary wrap is the one that we want, and right caret and then enter return key, left caret /, and then place your cursor in between the two, tab in, and left caret div class, and this is going to be the content secondary contain class that we're going to use for this section, and hit the right caret, enter return key, left caret /, and then place your cursor in between. Before we put in the columns though, we're going to make sure we add a little bit of we're going to add a title, and we're going to add a little bit of a description following that title. So tab in, and once you're inside the content secondary container, left caret H1, and this is going to be company /organization spotlight, left caret /, and then enter the return key, and we're going to put in a basic company description right underneath this. So I'm going to type in left caret paragraph right caret and then left caret / to close that out, and then move my caret right in between. I have some ipsum lorem text ready to go, and I'm actually just going to come up and grab part of that right up in here from another section to save time on our tutorial here. So I'm just going to copy that, locate my opening and closing paragraph tag that I just had, and then paste that description right in. Okay, so following this is where we're going to insert our content columns right after this paragraph tag. So I'm going to place my cursor right after that closing paragraph and hit the enter return key, and we're going to start inserting those columns. So left caret div class, and this is content 3 call, right caret enter return key, left caret /. I need 2 more of these, so I'm just going to highlight those 3 lines there with the space included, and Command C or Control C, place your cursor right after that closing div tag, enter return, Command V or Control V, Command V and Control V one more time after you hit the enter return key. In the middle one, we need to give that ID of middle call. So right after that quotation mark, after the call, right in the middle section there, hit the space bar and ID, and mid call is what we're looking for. Next, for our content here, we need to put in a title, an image, and a bit of description to follow that. So I'm going to place my cursor in between that blank space right in the first div class 3 content call, and tab in. Left caret, we're going to use an H4 for this title because we don't want any kind of spacing issues from a previous section. So we're going to go ahead and use a new tag that we haven't used before, and the title of this one for my section is volunteer. This is one of the service or products or things that Southern Oregon Humane Society offers for their organization. And then go ahead and hit the enter return key after that. And I have an image to go along with this. So what I'd like to do here is put in my image, and so left caret img src, and browse for that. And this one is for the volunteer section. Actually, this one should be our adopt section, so I need to go back and change that. So click that, images, and I'm looking for So Humane Adopt, and tab over and Alt key and adopt. Let's do SO Humane Adopt, and then after that quotation mark / right caret. So I need to go back and change a couple things. One is this is not the volunteer section. I just got discombobulated there, and then also I forgot to wrap my content here in that A element. So I'm going to place my cursor right before the H4 tag and hit the enter return key, and then place my cursor right above it. And I'm going to type in the href key. And this is a link that goes outside of our site here, and it's for the adoption page of Southern Oregon Humane. So I'm going to tab over, and I already have this open, and I'm looking for the adopt tab here, and Control C that URL, and then tab back over to Dreamweaver, and then paste that in between those two quotation marks in our href property there. Right after that quotation mark, I'm going to hit the space key and type in target and select blank, so it goes to a new tab. And then I can't forget that class to make this look good for our button, so type in class and colbtn and right caret. And then we need to make sure we close this out properly, so locate that image that we had just put in right after the closing right caret there, hit the enter return key, and go ahead and do it twice so we have an extra space above, and hit the left caret /. So now we're back on track with where we should be. Use your arrow key to move up, and this is where we're going to type in just a real brief description of the adoption program or whatever product or service that your company organization offers. So left caret P, right caret, left caret /. And again, I'm just going to grab some ipsum lorem text here, and I'm just going to let's do like 3 sentences perhaps, nothing too major. Control C that, and then paste that in there. Next, I'm going to locate that second section to start filling out that next column there. So I'm going to place my cursor in between that second section and then tab in. And we're going to start off with that A element again. So A href. And I have this open up in my browser, so I'm going to tab over to Firefox, and I want to link this to their volunteer page, so I'm going to Control C or Command C, and then tab back over to Dreamweaver, and then paste that in between the two quotation marks of my H element there, href property element. And then I'm going to make sure my cursor is after that quotation mark and hit the spacebar, type in target, and select blank, and then spacebar again, and then type in class and call button, and right caret, and then enter return key twice, left caret / so I have a space in between. Move your cursor up above and type in the left caret H4, and this one for me is going to be called volunteer, left caret /, and hit the enter return key. And for this one, I don't have an image. Instead, I have a video. And I'm going to tab over, and I have this already pulled up on YouTube. And I'm going to scroll down, and what you want to look for here is the embed tab right below. So when you click on share on the YouTube video, you can click on the embed piece, and it should give you an iframe with a link to it so that you can embed that into a website. So I'm going to highlight that, Control C or Command C, and then tab back over to Dreamweaver. Then I'm going to Control V or Command V that in there. We need to change the width of this iframe, otherwise it's going to exceed our column that we have created. So where it says iframe width, where it says 560, I'm going to delete that out, and mine is 290 pixels. You may have made some adjustment to yours, so make sure that you have the same width as the columns that you made these. And the height is also, I know this dimension is 190 for mine because I have done this as a landscape piece. The last thing too is there is the ability for you to do allow full screen on this, and that's not what I don't want to allow that for my section. So where it says allow full screen at the end there, I'm just going to delete that out. So I have that, so to take away that ability. Okay, so there's my YouTube video. Following that closing iframe tag, we need to hit the enter return key and put in a description again for that section. So I'm just going to grab the same one I had done before, the adopt section, and hit Control C or Command C, and then paste that in there in between the A element. The last of the columns we have, we're going to place my cursor in between here, and again tab in, and we're going to go with the A element again. So left caret A href, and I have this pulled up on my browser, so I'm going to tab over, and this is going to be the donate section. So I'm going to Control C or Command C that URL, tab over, and paste it in between those two quotation marks. Move my cursor outside of that quotation mark and hit the space bar, target, and select blank, space again, and class, and then select the COL BTN, and right caret. Enter return key, left caret /. Move your cursor in between the A element that we just created there, and type in your H4 tag, left caret H4, and type in your title for this. Mine is going to be donate, left caret /. And hit the enter return key right after that. And I have an image for this set up too, so left caret img src. And once you get the browse button, hit the enter return key another time. And for me, this one is going to be So Humane Donate. Cute little dog there. And tab over and then type in the Alt key and So Humane Donate. And then move your cursor after the quotation mark, / and right caret, and then hit the enter return key. And we need to put in that description again, so I'm just going to highlight and copy and paste that paragraph into my donate section. Okay, we have a little bit more of content to go beneath these columns, so I'm going to find that closing div tag, the last one of the last column there. I'm just going to click on it and see how it highlights the opening tag of that. And I'm going to place my cursor right after that closing div tag and hit the enter return key. Before I type in my content here, I need to make sure that I've cleared any kind of floating issues, so we're going to enter that break class again of clear. So left caret br class clear. And we're just taking extra precautions after we floated those columns, and hit the enter return key. And what we have here is we have a couple of required pieces of content that we'd like you to insert. One of those is the mission statement, one of those is a little bit of a history section, and the last is a community relations partnerships piece. So I'm going to type in a left caret H2, and we're going to call this mission statement, left caret /, and I'm just going to enter in these headings right now. And so we're going to do company / organization history. If yours is a company, you can just say company history, and if it's just an organization, you can say organization history. Hit the enter return key, and then left caret H2 again, and we're going to do community relations / partnerships, and left caret /. And I have some text to go along with this. I'm just going to scroll up and look for a little bit of text that I can use to go underneath each of those, about 3 or 4 sentences long. Command C or Control C, and then underneath that mission statement, hit the enter return key, left caret P, right caret, left caret /, and then place your cursor in between the two paragraphs and hit the Command V, Control V, paste that in there. And if you want to save yourself a little bit of time in coding, go back and highlight that same sentence again, but grab those paragraph tags that we just put in. Command C, Control C, and then next heading, enter return key, Command V or Control V, and then last one, Command V, Control V, enter return right after that. Okay, before we move on though, I know we do need to do a little bit of styling to this H4 element under the content 3 call class. So I'm going to jump into my style sheet and scroll down, looking for that content 3 column, and right underneath the H3 there, place my cursor after the closing curly brace, hit the enter return key, and period, content, and go ahead and select the content 3 call so you get it exactly right, and H4, and then open up a curly brace there, and we're going to set some margin here to 15 pixels on the top, 0 right, 0 bottom, 0 left, and font size we're going to go ahead and make it 1.4 EM, and then we're going to tell our text to align in the center. Hit the enter return key and then right curly brace. Save that. Go File, Save All. Okay, let's go ahead and see how it looks. So let's click on our design piece there and scroll up. And I see one thing that we can make an adjustment to, and that's that image. Our images aren't quite spaced down enough like we'd want, so maybe we should add that class of margin adjust. So let's go ahead and jump back into our code and click on our source code and scroll up and look for those images. So right after the alt tag and that quotation mark, that end of the quotation mark, place your cursor in between the forward slash and the quotation mark, hit the space bar, type in class, and then I believe it's called image margin adjust, and select that. We will need to do the same thing, and we can do it to the iframe as well. So let's find that where it says frame border equals 0. Right after that quotation mark, hit the space bar, and then class, and then image margin adjust. And then scroll up, last image, right after the quotation mark, space, class, image margin adjust. There we go. Okay, and let's save it. Click over design. So this in our design view, your iframe isn't going to show that it's 15 pixels bumped down by the margin, but if we look at it in our browser, you will see that in my browser it does have that spacing. Now as I look at it in my browser, there is one thing that I think we should adjust, and I think we should add a little bit of a space underneath our description right here, and there's a pretty easy way to do that. We don't actually have to style anything, but we can just add that break class again, and it will create a little bit of a space for us, so we don't have to actually go in and make that adjustment. So I'm going to tab back over real quick to my Dreamweaver, go jump into the code, and locate that right where it says the div class content 3 call, that first one. Place your cursor right at the beginning there, hit the enter return key, move your cursor up, left caret, break class, and then type in clear / and then right caret. So now if I toggle back over, hit save, and toggle back over to my Dreamweaver, Firefox, and hit refresh, it should space it down just a little bit, and that should be enough for me to get along with there. So all right, we're looking pretty good. Our next section here is going to be a quick and easy one. It's some text with a bulleted list, and it should round us out pretty quickly.